Okay, hello. This is Myron Larimer again. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the South Bend Area Realtors. I hope everybody's doing well today. This morning, we're going to be talking with Jeff Rea, the President of the South Bend Regional Chamber. And we're going to talk a little bit about the housing market, some of the things that are going on related to the economy. Jeff, welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Morning, Myron. Thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate that, and it's been great to stay connected with you and the good work you and all your associates are doing during this uncertain time. So I appreciate the chance to chat a little bit more about it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Start with the housing market. I have some statistics here. The first part of the year was strong. We saw a very strong February and January. Our year-to-date numbers were up 34% versus last year, which was a great start. I think the good weather helped out with that. Currently, March was also very strong. In spite of some of the COVID concerns during March, we've had 270 sold or closed properties, which was only 5 down from March of last year, which was also a very strong year. So we seem to be doing very well. What are your thoughts in terms of the impact that has for the local economy with that strong housing market?
I think that's exciting at a time when there aren't a lot of positive economic indicators. That certainly is one, and we're really encouraged when we see that. We obviously feel like we have been coming off a pretty good era of housing and then to hit this glitch and sort of wondering how the pandemic was going to affect really all industries. Obviously, several industries are impacted in a very negative way, and a number of businesses that are shut down. But the fact that there still is a great amount of interest out there, that people are still buying and selling homes, and the fact that you're comparing well to previous years has us encouraged. I think there's a lot of discussion here about what happens next. Obviously, the health crisis still needs to get figured out, if you will, but the economic recovery, I think, is where our focus is. And so how do we get people back to work, and how do we get the economy back to normal? And an indicator like that folks are doing that is a real plus and something that we can build on.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things in terms of getting the economy back, the federal government has put $2.2 trillion into the economy through direct stimulus payments to people. Those should be hitting people's bank accounts this week. What impact is that going to have locally for our economy? Where do you see that being a complement to what's already happening here?
So first, I think it should help at a time when some folks are just trying to get through a difficult time. Maybe they've been laid off, or work isn't as regular as it was before. So some, I think, will use it to just help do some normal kind of stuff. I do think we see an opportunity for a real boom in some industry. I think a number of people will see this as some found money, if you will, in terms, and we'll move forward on improvement projects potentially that they've put off for some time. I know that as we talk to some of our service providers or folks who are doing household kind of things, they're saying there's a lot of folks who are taking advantage of this time at home, having that plumber come out, or that electrician come out, or the landscape the project they put off for a while and stuff. So we'd love to see it get reinvested in those companies by hiring those contractors to come make improvements, and I think we'll see a nice boost from that.
Excellent. Yeah, and looking at some of the stats I saw from NAR, the National Association of Realtors, they said 46% of the people that received stimulus checks were going to be applying them in some way to mortgage or their rent, and then they broke it down into different demographics. Baby boomers weren't going to be using that as much as millennials are, simply because of where they were financially. So yeah, a lot of people will be injecting a lot of that, I think, into home improvement projects and things to do some of the things that they probably couldn't have done otherwise, especially if they feel they're on solid financial grounds for the impact that they have. One of the things that also came out were these SBA loans. What impact is that going to have on local businesses? Right now, we've been fortunate in terms of the real estate industry to continue working as an essential business, but not every business was that fortunate. How important are those things, and how can those be applied for, and what's that process from your experience?
Yeah, so there's several different, Congress acted quickly to put some major dollars in to help businesses through this difficult time. Many of them that have been closed for a period of time had to make the difficult decision to let go of employees and lay off folks. And so things like the CARES Act and the Payroll Protection Plan helps them maybe bring some of those employees back, and gives a little infusion of cash at a time that a business just isn't going very well. Our small businesses in particular typically have 15 to 30 days cash on hand, and we now have been closed about a month. And so they're really starting to feel the pinch of that. So I think of PPP as being an important one, and we encourage folks to contact their bank, and their banker will help them navigate that process. And then some of those dollars are now coming back and helping those folks get through really till the end of June. And I think the uncertain piece is how quickly will we be able to get back open, and when will revenue start to come in again. And so this is intended to help bridge that. The EIDL loan, which can be forgivable up to about $10,000, is one. It's got some deficiencies in it, but that's another one I think people are paying close attention to. The SBA loans as well. And then actually the city of South Bend is going to unveil a loan program even yet this week, and that will help some small businesses as well. And I think, I think when we look at some of the national numbers on predictions of small businesses surviving this, there's a prediction that many will not. And so I think the city, the state, the country are trying to find those programs and such. And I'd say mixed bag. Some people said it's pretty easy. Some people said it's pretty difficult. I guess the truth is in the middle right there, but we're encouraging them to really go places like our website, where we try to help them understand those resources are available and where to plug into them, or call the SBDC who can help them plug into that resource. There's a lot of different things out there. And then more importantly, we're working on the next phase too. So we anticipate Congress coming back together here relatively soon. Most of those early programs have been completely tapped, and Congress may need to take a fourth run at some sort of assistance. And so we've been working on language and suggestions that need to be included in that will help make sure that it meets needs that have maybe gone unmet with those earlier programs.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, it's good to know. We really appreciate the impact that the federal government has had in responding quickly. So hopefully the interjection of cash into our economy can help maintain some of the economic strengths that we've had. One more thing before we go. What do you see in terms of the health of the economy? Everybody that I talk to seems to say that this is not an economic crisis as much as a medical crisis, and that the foundation of the economy is still strong. We see that, I think, in the housing market. What's your perspective on that, and how quickly do you think we can rebound once we get this virus under control?
I think it's going to depend a little bit on industry, and so certainly industries are able to react faster than others. When we look at things like hotels and restaurants and some of our retail stores, it certainly has hit them much harder than some of the others, as people aren't out spending money like they used to. And I think the recovery will be a little slower on those, especially as we decide what the new normal is in terms of gathering and connecting and interacting with folks. I think others will get back up and running soon. We've seen some real interest on the economic development side, even during this tight time. Our manufacturers are important in the supply chain, and they're working really hard to kind of get back up to full production. So we'd like to think it's going to be a short-term thing, but we know longer term, for particular industries. I think the other maybe key point is we want to make sure we don't replicate what happened in the 1918 pandemic, where a lot of folks went back to work too early and there was a second spike. And so there's a lot of conversation about what kind of lessons we can learn, what decisions we need to make sure that this doesn't spike again and cause a worse impact on the economy.
Yeah, that's important to note. I know, people are getting frustrated with being locked down and staying at home, but it really is important that we do this and make sure that we don't have that second spike. It's wearing on our patience, I know, but people are being creative, and I think overall the people I talk to seem to be in good spirits and dealing with it reasonably well, and hopefully that will continue. Like I said, the underlying things, low interest rates for the housing market, just a strong demand. I think overall, if the rest of the economy is in the same shape, I think we'll be good coming out of this on the back end. So hopefully we can get this behind us fairly quickly.
I hope so. It'll be a couple more weeks of this, and again, we're hopeful that folks get back to normal, and we're grateful that folks have followed advice, and I do think people have done a nice job really flattening the curve. That's been the big term, and we're seeing some nice evidence there.
Excellent. Any parting thoughts before we close?
No, I just think, folks, keep up your good work out there. You are play such a vital role in kind of what's happening in the economy. And so thank you for your folks adapting to some new normals and continuing to find ways to help people realize their dreams of home ownership and such. And so just hang in there. We're going to get through this, and we all got to do this together.
Yeah, that's really important. Again, our industry has been very fortunate to continue working, but technology tools have allowed us to do that in ways we couldn't have done 20 years ago. With
Right.
videos and with e-signatures, texting, all sorts of ways to make that uh, sales experience happen in terms of home ownership. We've been very fortunate that we can do this and keep an eye on safety through the whole time. So, Jeff, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Thank you for all you do for our community in terms of promoting us and the chamber and everything that they do. We have a great local economy. We want to make sure that that continues to be strong going into the future. So thank you for everything you do. Appreciate it.
Great. Thanks, Myron.
Excellent. Take care.